Hello YouTube, how are you guys doing? Welcome to another rendition of the Low Elo Patch Review. My name is Cerberus, or you can call me Jan, whichever one you like. This is just a kind of review on my neck of the woods of Elo. So silver to bronze, bronze to gold. So this is just my experience, how I feel about champions currently. I have no other experience outside of that. I have been playing the game for a long time, but this is as much as I got for you, and I think it's decent. So let's start with this patch. This is the last patch before Worlds 25.20. So this is going to be the patch that is going to be prominent in Worlds, and aside from the other patches, which you can catch on the YouTube channel, 19, 18, and 17. This is going to be the last change up for Worlds. So be on the lookout for anything that's buffed right now in here. These might show up in Worlds, I think. Starting off with, we have Anivia, one of the best, control mages out there. Wall is amazing for controlling. Q holds a lot. W, it's the most infuriating thing when you have a long distance engage that can be blocked by an Anivia wall. So Anivia is really good. Starting off with it, Q cooldown. Originally was beginning is a 12-second cooldown, goes down to 11, and is decreased by 1 second for every level. So whenever you feel like Anivia's Q has been hitting you too fast off of her cooldowns, this is going to be a lot faster. Plus, with any haste that she gets, this is going to be, you're going to get CC'd so much more. So if you have a problem with Anivia always you hitting you and you can't do anything about it and you just get stuck, this is the problem. I am going to say right now, I haven't seen an ASOL nerf in a while. If you have a problem with Anivia, I would recommend playing Aurelion Sol. He is one of the best counters to her. He stays in the same level as her the entire game. He honestly, he increases by the rest of the game than she does. So be on the lookout for that. Her E damage is also going up by 5 for all levels. She is, it's a decent overall increase to her E damage. You might see a lot more burst Anivia's coming out with her E. Q, E, W is in there. You're done. So Anivia, pretty good. Katarina, a 4 increase to her armor, so it goes from 28 to 32. Reading the patch notes here, they're saying that Katarina is a pretty steep mastery curve while having the highest expert shares. This pushes her public win rate required to be balanced, and taking these factors into account. So you will always have a Katarina at some point show up in your game, and they are just insanely good no matter what elo you're in. I have seen it in bronze elo, I've seen it in silver. You will see a Katarina who has like 50 mastery points, right? Like 50 levels of mastery. This just buffs her, honestly. I don't think this is going to show up in pro play, I'll be honest. Katarina is one of those that it can snowball, but this is just not pro play material. The next champion I do think is pro play material. Malphite. Malphite's armor is going up by 3 from 37 to 40, and his E base damage is going up by 10. Malphite with his base armor starting at 40 is already a problem. No matter who you're playing against, Malphite is going to be a problem now. You can build him against melee champions. You can play him against Teemo. Like, both sides of his coin are a problem. AP or AD. His E is a really good burst for anything. So I think this is low elo. Again, Malphite might be showing up in pro play. That's just my opinion. Pantheon. Q monster damage is going up by 5. So it's going to be 0.75x to 0.8x, and his W minion monster cap is increasing. Okay, this is This is a sizable buff in Pantheon jungle and Pantheon top lane, or honestly Pantheon support. Um, well, not Pantheon support because you're not supposed to be, but W on monsters. This is Pantheon. Honestly, this is a great Pantheon jungle buff. He's a great jungler. He has so much more mobility with his ult. He has so much damage. He is very hard to kill. If you're looking for a jungler to start on and you want to have a lot of, presence in the game, I would say Pantheon right now is a great jungler for you to start on. This buff, I do not think is needed. Vigar's W is increased with the AP threshold. It's going up by 10 to 110 AP percentage. I think this is a very, very bad buff because Vigar is one of the worst mid laners to have to play against. Because you can think that you're winning against not a Malphite, a Vigar, and if the game runs on long enough, Vigar will just delete your entire team. This is not needed. The nerfs, though. Let's talk about the nerfs. Nerf Briar. Her passive max stacks is going down by 5. If you ever feel like you get out of a Briar fight and you die no matter what because of the insanguination passive, this is going to be a little bit less now. It's going down by 2, so the tick rate is going down. I think this is really good. Briar is still going to be a passive, a passive pain in the ass, no matter what. No matter who you play against. There are champions that can, counter Briar, but very far and few in between. So I think this is a really not like that big of a nerf. It's needed because Briar has always been a problem, but I don't think that's that big of a nerf. Orianna, W damage going down by looks to be 40, but the AP percentage is going up by 10. I don't know if I would say this is that big of a nerf. I think Orianna is still going to show up. I think W damage, the circle that it hits on the ground, I think is not the biggest deal. Maybe your trades are going to be a lot less and you might need to think about how you're trading, but this isn't a big sizable nerf. Volibear, the best jungler to play right now, honestly. Passive damage is going down by 5% AP. So his electrocution jumps are going to be sizably nerfed for any fights that he takes. So AP Volibear, you're not going to be doing as much damage with on hit. His E damage, so that big burst from his Thunderbolt hitting the ground, his E damage is going down by 10% AP. And that's it. These two, this is good enough that he might not be the number 1 jungler anymore. He's probably down still, like number 1, but maybe 2 or 3. But he is still a problem. This does not do anything to his shielding. This does not do anything to his Q jump or his W heal. So I think just trading on him is going to be harder. On hit is going to be less effective. But he's still going to be a problem. I don't think we're going to see... we might still see him in pro play. I'm really looking through this, and I think, honestly, the buffs are out stacking the nerfs right now. Warwick, AD growth. Wow. AD growth is going 275, 2.5, and attack speed growth is going down to 2. Top lane, Warwick might be gone. Might be. We still might see it in pro play. We still might see this from Broken Blade. The top father still might play this. I wouldn't put it against him. He's probably not going to be playing the horrible top lane shield Warwick, where he just plays barrier flash and he just ults you whenever he's low. But you still might see him. Champion adjustments. Let's talk about this. Azir. I love Azir. No matter what state he's in, no matter if he's buffed or nerfed or if he's OP, Azir is one of my favorite champions. Arima Shuffle is always the most iconic, one of the most iconic combos that you can play. WAP ratio goes down to begin with, but is buffed at the end. So it goes down from 40 to 60 to 30 to 70. This scaling Azir is still a thing. W extra target damage mod is going to be that is a thing. Okay, so you starting at 1, 6, 11, and 16. So the normal jumps in everything for Azir is going away. So he's staying at 20 from levels 1 through 8 for W mod. And then 9 through 18, 28 to 100% AP. That is just letting you know you are probably going to be doing less damage levels 1 through 8. Which still is the normal thing for Azir. But this is going to be a spike at level 9. And then, so his spike is starting faster. That's what you have to think about. It's no longer level 11 spike. Level 9 spike with, by then, you're definitely going to have Baron's Tooth right there. His W recharge rate goes from 10 to 6 to 12 to 6. And his E damage is going to 60 to 220 plus 40 to 70 to 230 to 60. So your dashes are going to actually do damage now. Crazy, but you're not supposed to dash into anybody. So it just, if that happens, you're going to be doing a lot more damage. Honestly, not the worst. This is an adjustment. This just puts Azir back into that spot of a scaling champion. Pro play, he's there. Honestly, this is not a bad. They didn't do anything to his Q. I don't know what his Q is at right now, but you're still going to be building exactly the same, honestly. Like, this maybe just puts him, like, in a stable place, in my opinion. Camille. Oh, I love Camille buffs. I love Camille buffs. She's such a cool champion. Camille. Oh, sorry. Adjustment. Armor growth goes down to 4.5 from 5. W, CD, 17. Ooh, 17 to 11 to 15 to 11. And your trades with W are going to go up. Oh, this is great. Her W is on a lower cooldown. This is great. Trading with her is going to be much better now. Using your W to deal damage, slow, and get lifesteal from is going to be amazing. Yeah, because you're increasing also the damage that by 10 for every level. So this is great. Fizz. W passive damage over time. 20 to 60 plus 30 to 30 to 90 plus 25. No longer dots structures. Oh. Dot display is now cumulative. W active base damage goes up at 150 from 130. W on hit damage goes up Minimum R damage also goes up. Maximum R damage goes down. Okay, but it's higher at lower levels. This is a big adjustment to Fizz. I haven't seen Fizz being played a lot. I think this might keep him in the game. Because this is a flip. This is a flip. You have to think about this. His base damage, so aside from his percentage of AP, is going up. His percentage damage is going down. So he just keeps himself at a stable position. That's what you have to think. Graves. Graves is always, sometimes, not always, sometimes a good jungler for pro play. Q damage, Q1 damage. So the shootout, and then the comeback is Q2. Shootout is going up. Wow, that's a sizable fucking jump. 45 to 125 plus 80 to 50 to 150 plus 65. That's, I think this brings Graves. This is a buff. This is a nerf. Q2 damage, 85 to 225 plus 40 to 140. Goes to 80 to 260 to 55 to 115. You're bursting literally everybody with Q. Levels 1, 2, 3. And then Q total damage is going up on the baseline damage. It goes 130 to 350 plus 120 to 220 percentage. And then it goes 130 to 410 to 120 to 180 percentage. This is, honestly, this is a buff. This is a buff to Graves. Wukong. Q bonus AD ratio, 55 to 50. Okay, that's a nerf. WCD goes 20 to 16 to 22 to 18. W damage, 35 to 55 to 30 to 50. E damage, 80 to 200, 80 to 240. This is a nerf. This is a complete nerf. This is a nerf. Wow. That is crazy that they did this. You're not going to see Wukong. You're not going to see Wukong. His E damage alone is not enough to keep him in the game. Like, Wukong survives so much because his AD ratio for his Q is so high. And his W is usually a good cooldown to, like, escape. Or, you know, to hide. This is a nerf. Completely. Like, your initial damage, sure, you're going to E into a target. Initial damage is going up. But that's only at higher levels. Baseline damage is going down. Wukong is no longer an early game champion. You can no longer skirmish. Yeah. Overall, adjustments, decent. I would say some are buffs instead of an adjustment. Some are nerfs instead of an adjustment. Nerfs, not that big. Buffs, pretty sizable. I'm gonna say this is like one of the bigger buff patches. Worlds is gonna be interesting. Worlds is definitely gonna be interesting because there's a lot that was buffed in the previous patches that has not been rebuffed or re-nerfed. Worlds is definitely gonna be interesting. I'm excited to see how this plays in live patches, but I think this is gonna be very interesting. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching, and this is gonna be one of the last for right now prior to Worlds. I'm still going to be doing this after Worlds. But this is the last patch before Worlds. Keep that in mind. Alright, thank you guys for watching. I'll check you guys out later.